So, are you all interested in what I read? Because honestly, this was a strange month. It wasn't bad, it wasn't awesome, and I DNF'd something, which is not something that you normally see on this channel, so that's something new, I guess. Hello, beautiful bookworms! My name is Katarina, and welcome to my channel. And today I am going to be doing my wrap up for the month of May. And I am not sure how it is already June, but I mean, we carry on, I guess. We are half the month, half the year, half the month, okay, half the year in, and I don't know how half a year passed, but it did, and it's very strange. So as I was saying, I'm going to be doing my May wrap up, and for the month of May, I only read 3 books, which is not really bad considering that I had a lot of evaluations coming up, a lot of classes, online classes, of course, but classes, nevertheless, a lot of preparation to do, and yeah, it was very, very strange. So I read, but I worked a lot, and I don't know. I don't feel like I read a lot, but I did. So it's fine. I don't know. We are going to do this. So firstly, I am not proud to present, but I will present my DNF of the month, which I am normally a person that if I start reading a book, I don't really DNF it. So I finish it all the way just to be sure that I didn't miss anything and to be sure that I could criticize it and talk about it deeply. But in this case, and it's very strange because it's a very, very small book. It's actually a manga, but in this case, I knew it. I felt it in my bones, like, okay, I'm not going to finish this, and why bother? Because I have a lot of things to do, and I cannot be bothered. So I DNF Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. Wow, these names, I mean. This is by Kajiji Kumanomata. Okay, that one was really hard. Kajiji Kumanomata. Wow, okay. Yeah, that person. We will carry on. And this is a manga, and this is the tiniest thing, and I DNF this. Why? Because although this is very, very funny, it's not the type of manga that I normally like to read, which you probably know by now that I like deep, dark, and twisted things where characters suffer, which is not really the case in this because it's actually very, very funny. So this is basically a story about this princess, and she was kidnapped by the demon king and his minions, and she is kept as a hostage in the demon castle. And she is very, very sleepy, and it's basically the quests of the day that she does to actually find a place and a bed and a pillow and a way to actually be able to sleep, because she couldn't care less that she is being trapped and held hostage in the demon castle. And demons are actually more afraid of her than anything else, because she's like cutting demons in half and stuff because they're fluffy just to get things for her pillows. It's nice, it's funny, but I would prefer that someone actually told me this instead of reading it, because it's like the quest of the day, and that's not really my type of read. And so it was funny, but it was like starting to be pretty much all in the same, and I had no patience for it. And I was like, okay, I don't have a lot of time to read this month, so if I'm not enjoying it, I'm laughing but not enjoying it as much as I should, then I'm not going to read it. And this was the best decision that I made. This was actually lent to me by a friend, and I'm very sorry that I did not finish it, but I would prefer that he actually told me, because he's really funny when he's telling these things as well. So I could absorb the story more and having more pleasure if he actually told it to me than actually reading it, because it's really not my type of manga. That aside, I read other stuff. So since 2 of the books that I read are from the same series, I'm going to start with the other one, and that was also lent to me by my friend, and that is Magic: The Gathering. And this is The Gathering Dark Ice Age Cycle Book 1. Okay, this is a big title. Why? What's up with the big titles? This is by Jeff Grubb. Cool name. Okay. And basically, if you don't know, this is sort of a novelization of the games Magic: The Gathering. If you don't know, it's sort of a card game in which you have some territories, and from them you pull the magical power to actually play. It's very similar to, if you are sort of my age, like 24 or something like that, you will remember Yu-Gi-Oh! It's sort of the same thing, but I think maybe cooler because it has different types of magic and it's nice, it's interesting. So this is part, from what I understand, of the novelizations of Magic the Gathering, and this is set after this big gigantic war that happened, and it's set in the Dark Ages. So basically there's no sun that you can speak of, and everything is dark and cold and very grim, and our main character of this one is called Joda. Is that his name? Joda? Joda? Yeah, Joda. Joda is a very nice name. I don't know. Okay, he's called Joda. And from what I gather, he's 15 years old, and basically he has the power to use mana, which is what feeds the magical power. And this magic system is really interesting because it's based in a card game. You basically have to remember pieces of landscape in order to fuel your magic. So if you have, and then there's different types and colors of magic that allow you to use different types of magic, which is pretty cool. So imagine that you were born in a plain, which is the case of our main character. He is able to use white mana because he remembers the plains and the green, and I don't know, it's cute and it's light magic, it's interesting. But then you have dark magic from the swamps, black magic, you have green magic from the forests, and blue magic from the islands, and red magic from the mountains, I believe. So red magic is fire and white magic is light. Black magic is sort of necromancy. You know, it's interesting. I really enjoyed it. And basically the plot point of this is that from what I understand, remember that I'm picking this up in the middle of the things, so I'm not really sure if what I'm understanding is correctly, but from what I understand, he has this sort of inheritance of a past. So he is someone that has the power to free a very ancient mage that is locked up by his peers. And this was very interesting. I really enjoyed the book, and I'm going on to the second one right now because I have a trilogy here with me, and I have to give this back to my friend because it's been a while that I have these. It was interesting. If it was the best book that I've read in my life, no, but it was pretty cool magic system, and it was pretty well written, and I actually laughed sometimes, so it was cool. And the last two books that I've read are from the same series, and it's a series that I've been starting because it's the last series that I have to read for one of the authors that I have most books of, and I went to a signing for the release of this last book in Portugal, and I hadn't even started reading the first one, so I decided now was the time. I was very interested to actually just read this author again, and so I did. So the two books that I read belong to the Others series by Anne Bishop and are Written in Red, which is the first one, and Murder of Crows, which is the second one. And these are the Portuguese editions. I don't normally like people's faces on covers, but I do believe that these editions are gorgeous because they have the animals, and they're really beautiful. The color schemes, I don't know, I really enjoy them. So for the sake of not losing a wrist, I'm just going to hold this one up. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. So this is basically a series of 5 books. It's already completed, and now she's coming out with some novellas in the same world of these, but this is a complete series. And basically this series is called The Others because it's sort of a urban fantasy series in which, she sort of created her world, but you can really tell that it's our world, so I'm going to say it's urban fantasy and not high fantasy because it's really not. But basically, you have the world as it is with people, but you have another race, another predatory race that is at the top of the food chain, and those are the others. And they were created by like the goddess of the earth, the nature mother, you know? And basically the others are shapeshifters, we are going to say that. Nobody knows like their real form, but mostly they appear as wolves or crows or foxes or bears, but they're very, very big, like they're monstrous. They're not normal animals per se, but they also have ability to rationalize and they are very intelligent, and they are able to actually shapeshift from their specific forms to humans. So this is not a case of humans shape-shifting to animals, but animals actually being able to shape-shift to humans. And they do so in order to trade with human beings. However, human beings, being as cruel and stupid as we are, decide, well, we are superior to the others, even though they were here first, so we're going to try and colonize them. And that did not end up well. So basically there's an ongoing sort of war between peaceful moments between people and the others. And it's sort of a colonization sort of comparison. But in this case, the others are way more powerful and are killing humans every time that humans mess up. So it's also a very non-beautiful world because it's very angry, and yeah, it's very strange to explain, but it sort of makes sense. Our main character, though, is a human, and she's named Meg Corbin, and she is a blood prophet, or a blood Cassandra, I think that's how you call them. And basically, every time that she cuts herself, she has prophecies or visions that she has not the ability to actually interpret correctly, but that can be used for others to interpret their future. And so she escapes of the place where she was being held and sold in order to make prophecies. And she escapes to this place where the others live, and she's accepted among them, and they start to discover who she is, and she starts to meddle in the situations between others and humans, and so it's complicated, of course, and of course that you already know that's going to be a romance between one of the others and her, because it's that type of book. But I mean, I don't really mind because I read this for guilty pleasure anyways. So first of all, first and foremost, I do have to say huge trigger warnings for self-harm, like huge, something that oh my god. And I'm not actually joking, because as someone that really understands what self-harm is, because I really do, sometimes this is a bit too much, because the cuttings for the prophecies, okay, so why is this coming out? Jesus, again, okay. As I was saying, when she cuts her skin, she has a prophecy, and apparently that causes some sort of pleasure-like feeling, and because of that, those types of people get addicted to cutting themselves, which I have to say, it's not the most beautiful way to approach self-harm in this situation. It's not. I was reading this, and every time that she was like, I'm feeling an itch and I have to cut myself because I have a prophecy to make, I was like, you're making me feel an itch in a place where, oof, my god. I cannot explain. I enjoy these books, I do, but they're a bit dangerous in that way, because if you self-harm and if you are in a place that you might relapse, this is not really good. Not really good for you. But apart from that, it is pretty nice. You have different types of others. You have the typical werewolf, you know, the typical vampire, although they transform into smoke, which is coolish, I don't know. Then you have the typical elementals that are actually winter, spring, summer, and fall, and water, air, and fire, which is pretty cool. And you have the crows, which for some reason are crows. They're like, oh, shiny! So you see human people going like, shiny! And after something, it's really, it's funny. It's not that fun, but it's funny. So Anne Bishop, she wrote one of my favorite series of all time, and that's the Black Chills trilogy. But I think that's where she peaked, because after that, I haven't read anything by her that actually made me love and be crazy as much as that trilogy and the subsequent novels in that world. But this is fun and it's enjoyable, and if you do not have trigger warnings for blood and self-harm, it will be fun for you to read if you like urban fantasy with shapeshifters and paranormal romance, because that's pretty much what this is. It has some political situations, but it's not dealt as seriously as it should be if it will be another type of novel. But it is fun and I enjoyed it. And in the second one, we have problems because the crows started getting murdered. So there's some drugs that are being produced, and the plots are nice. The things that she comes up with are always so out of what you're thinking. It's like, I'm reading this and I think, but why? And then I think it doesn't matter. I don't know, it's nice, it's fun. So yeah, that's why I say it's a strange month, because I haven't read anything that I can say, wow, this is my new favorite, I love this, I'm obsessed, but I had a lot of fun, and I think that that's what counts. And guilty pleasure reads, I mean, you can read what you want, it's fun. Enjoy yourself, that's what counts. So that's going to be it for this video, which is already pretty long. I was trying to make not as long videos as I did, but let's just roll with it. So that's going to be all for today. I hope that if you read something really fun in the month of May, you'll tell me down below, or if you've read any of these books, please tell me something in the comments down below as well, because I haven't known a lot of people that read Anne Bishop, so I would like to know if actually one of you has read her already, one of her works, maybe, I don't know. So that's going to be all for today, and happy readings to you all. Bye!